God Almighty, this is a great day for the Air Force, for the men and women of the 3rd Air Force, and for Major General France and his family. It's an honor to call upon you on behalf of our military community to know that we not only can, but are invited to ask for presence in our midst. When we pause to consider our vocations as America's defenders, especially abroad and in partnership with our host nation partners, we are humbled by the scope of that responsibility and proud to wear our nation's uniform. Because this is a selfless and demanding task, I ask that you strengthen all of us to live out this calling with courage and integrity. Today, I also pray for a proven and exceptional leader we all know, respect, and trust. As Major General France assumes command of the 3rd Air Force, I ask you to grant an abundant blessing upon him, Amanda, and their family. I ask that you give him wisdom in directing his actions and decisions during his time in this vital position. Give him the strength to continue as an individual of integrity, and to have the compassion that will enable him to lead in a way that is religious, exceptional, and effective. As Major General Francis is entrusted with this command today, help him to accept it as a sacred trust to regard and use it appropriately. I also pray for the men and women of the 3rd Air Force. May they be willing to follow his lead, support him in his decisions, and rally around him to accomplish their mission. Your strength enables us to protect others. Your providence keeps us safe. Help us to turn our hearts towards you each and every day by your grace and mercy. As I pray. Amen. Thank you, Sister Bowers and Chapel Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, stand on reading.
Morning, everybody, and welcome. Great to have you all here today. Let me first highlight to the commanders. The jets look great. Include the 135 and the 130 for you guys. I think I love you guys, so good on you. Thanks for getting them here today. And let me take this opportunity to welcome our distinguished guests. It's great to have you all here, particularly our host nation partners. It's a real pleasure to have you here today. Let me also welcome the commanders, the chiefs, and importantly the men and women of 3rd Air Force. It's a huge day today for 3rd Air Force, and I'm privileged to have an opportunity to be here with you. Let me also take this opportunity to welcome Amanda. Great to have you here, and to have Maddie and Claire with us here today. I know Aaron couldn't make it, but I will remind you, Amanda, it's much better than the last time we did this, when it was like 2 in the morning, and we were doing this from El Nacro, and I think it was pretty dark when we were trying to see this was playing out. But again, it's a special day for you, your family, and it's a pleasure for me to be here with you. Now, typically, we don't just do an assumption of command, but as you guys all know, the global environment has driven us to be adapted, to flex to what's going on in the world today. And so this is an assumption of command, and it takes nothing away from the importance of this event. So again, very appreciative that you all can be here, and for us to celebrate with Francis and have an opportunity to be here together to welcome into command at 3rd Air Force. And as I talk about 3rd Air Force, I think it's important to just quickly remind ourselves of the tremendous history that 3rd Air Force has. Many of you remember that it is one of the 4 original numbered Air Forces. It has a just tremendous history that goes all the way back to World War II, where they trained over 250,000 soldiers and airmen in preparation for the fight. And then they played a key role throughout Central Europe during World War II, and then all the way through the Cold War, where they played an important role in strategic air command in every one of the war plans that had to do with Europe. Then as we moved into current day activities, whether it was operations to support Libya, operations in Afghanistan, Iraq, and then in our current day operations, whether it was Allies welcome, it was our activities to support the NATO and Ukraine crisis, 3rd Air Force, its tremendously important role in everything that we've done, not only for our Air Force, the United States, but for the Alliance. And it's important that we remember that. Now, for the Francis, we've known them for a long time, all the way back to our time back at the U.S. Air Force Weapons School. This goes back to about 1998, where we had an opportunity to fly together. And unfortunately, Trevor had followed me around a couple of the same jobs that I had, whether it was commanding at the 433rd. He unfortunately had to be the deputy J3 at CENTCOM. Not a good job, very busy. We both did that job, and then as I highlighted, I was fortunate to work with him when he was the commander in El Taco. Importantly, what I would tell you though, he brings with him warfighting excellence that started at the tactical level with his skills in both the F-15 and the F-22. And then he took that into the operational level where he's demonstrated his savvy not only in the Central Command and area responsibility, but certainly here in Europe, where for the last couple of years he's had to put up with me and be in charge of operations here across Europe. And as I highlighted, and I think everybody knows, it's been very busy. And he has demonstrated his excellence not only in terms of providing guidance and intent and translating those things that we receive as guidance from our senior leaders, but also was able to operationalize that in a manner that allowed all the airmen that are out there operating every day to execute in accordance with that guidance. And while we may assume that to be easy, that's a heavy lift. It takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of translating the things that I'm trying to get across to the team and make it happen. So what I would tell you is that we've got a leader that not only knows how to execute the mission, but importantly, takes care of airmen, their families, collectively finds the right balance. And I would argue he does that because Amanda keeps them on the straight and narrow here. They're a great team that works together to accomplish all those things. So as we look forward and have an opportunity to welcome them into the 3rd Air Force team, I would tell all of you, you are in great hands. And there is no one better to be the commander of the 3rd Air Force than Trevor France, and having Amanda at his side to work together to deliver for the collective team is exactly where we need to go. Because as we look at our world today, and you all see the current events that have unfolded here over the last couple of months, we need thoughtful leaders, we need airmen that remain innovative and creative, and ultimately that affords us resilient families that work together to ensure that we achieve stability and security that is so critical, not only here in the Alliance and across Europe, but frankly across the world. So let me take this opportunity first to thank all of you for being here. Also thank you for your support to the 3rd Air Force, to safety AFAC, but importantly to the families, to the airmen, because without them we would get nothing done, and they are fundamental to our success. And I'm extremely happy for the Francis to be taking over. They are exactly the right family to lead during this critical time. And I have absolutely no doubt they will continue to ensure that the mission gets done, ensure that we take care of families, and ensure that at the end of the day, we keep the partnerships and relationships that are so important to what we do every day strong and fruitful. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for this opportunity. And I look forward now to the assumption of command. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the assumption of command and ceremonial changing of the flag.
Policy order.
Attention to orders. Under the provisions of Air Force Instruction 51509 and in accordance with General Order dated 18 May 2022, Major General Derek France is appointed Commander of 3rd Air Force effective 22 June 2022 by order of General Jeffrey Meridian, Commander, United States Air Forces Europe, United States Air Forces Africa. ladies and gentlemen, Major General Larry France. Now for the moment of truth, did I print this out? Distinguished visitors, general officers, commanders, directors, chiefs, first sergeants, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. It is what is understatedly a busy and fluid transition season here in USAFE. To our host nation, dear partners, Mr. Coleman, thank you for making the time to be here. Your friendship and partnership, both here locally and across USAFE, is key to our command success. I've seen local community engagement at a lot of different levels in the United States, and none is any better than what we enjoy right here at our bases that our airmen benefit from, both here in Germany and across USAFE. To family and friends that are here present, even with the magic of Zoom, if you're up this early, good on you. Or if you're watching the later version, even smarter. Amanda and I are blessed with so many friends and family, both here in our neighborhood, Team Waypoint, and across the globe. Thanks for continuing your support and for being there for us every step of the way. To our project officer, Lieutenant Colonel Brad, you and your team, thanks for your leadership in making the countless details happen that are important to success of this kind of event. The invitation set up, the comm system, the protocol, reception, too many details to lay out here. But again, your hands in all of them. Please pass my thanks to your entire team. So the 521st team out. Adrian, thanks for letting us borrow this facility yet again. Your gracious support for so many events and real-world crises is critical. I've seen this facility as an Afghan Pakistan. I've seen it host the Ramstein Bazaar. And I've seen it host in a snowstorm, the 80th anniversary ball. I appreciate your team absorbing the extra work that goes into doing that. I know that it's big. I'll echo General Reagan's comments on our static displays. So for our maintainers, for the wings that brought those out here, first and foremost, thanks for keeping those things coded on in the air and in the fight. And secondly, thank you for bringing them here. They look awesome. Senior McBowers, and Stevie wins the law. Thanks for being here. Awesome rendition, inspiring both our nation's national anthems. It's a reminder of the alliance, the trust, the respect that our nation shares between the two of us. Also, thank you for reminding me that we are a nation born to die, and that both in times of peace and in our darkest hour, we're a nation ready to remain ready to fight if needed to defend it. Chaplains, thanks for the invocation, primarily for reminding us that God's sovereignty is far beyond our present details and concerns, and it is steadfast. And on a personal note, thank you for reminding me that I am nothing without His strength, for He trains my hands for war and gives my fingers the skill for battle. And I am nothing without His endurance, for those that wait upon the Lord will mount up on wings as eagles. They shall run and not grow weary, and they shall walk and not faint. As mentioned by General Reed and Lynn are not here today after a well-deserved promotion. He is deep in his duties as the Vice Commander of Air Mobility Command, where he will continue to do great things for the mobility enterprise and for our Air Force. And while we normally say this to him, sitting on the stage right here behind us, it is worth saying and acknowledging in this crowd that his personal investment in the 3rd Air Force during his 2 years in command has made a huge difference both in the mission and to the airmen of the 3rd Air Force. I'm grateful for his efforts to include the time spent with me and be up to speed and school up on all things 3rd Air Force. But as we had those conversations, it dawned on me that I was stepping into very big shoes. General Reagan and Kathy, as you mentioned, we go way back. First and foremost, thanks for your example, for your mentorship of what it means to be a leader, what it means to be a warrior. For today, thanks for the trust and confidence and the opportunity to lead the best airman in the Air Force. I selfishly hope that this might be your last official duty in uniform, but since you have a few more days yet, I'll be satisfied with the fact that you're on a short file, year down, 3 green, clear plan, and look forward to seeing the action of the stage on Monday. By the way, we'll leave all this set up. It's good.
Your impact on your safety in our Air Force is difficult to put into words and can't be overstated. Your sense of what it takes to motivate airmen, to build trust and confidence in our airmen and their families, and to drive change is inspiring to watch, and it's fun to be a part of. You have my word as you're having a cocktail in Oklahoma somewhere in Arizona, that as commander here, Amanda and I will continue to prioritize our people, our readiness, our posture, and our partnerships. To my family, both extended, Dad, Mary Lynn, Renee, Molly, Ellie, Beckett, Jason, Jamie, Woody, Susan, the crowd that was watching this again, hopefully later on, but most importantly to Amanda and my daughters. Both Aaron, who's watching from Conus, Amanda, Addie, and Clara. I know this is not the first one of these you've sat on that road and listened to me blah, blah, blah on the podium. Glad to see you're awake, because that's not always the case. But every time this happens, I look down, and I can't tell you how much confidence it gives me to see up the front row that whatever challenge this command hands us, we'll tackle this as well. And I don't say it often enough, certainly not in this large audience, but I rely on your love, support, and patience every single day to keep going. For Aaron, watching from Conus, Maddie, and Clara, watching you roll with the punches of military life while managing to thrive and grow into the young women that you are makes me proud every time I consider your sense of adventure, your loyalty to each other, your humor, of the glue that holds our family together. And Amanda, having been a partner in this command, more importantly in life, is something I don't take lightly. And I don't never take for granted. I love you more each day. I'm excited about this next chapter in our Air Force. So if I could get some help here, please accept these flowers as a symbol of my appreciation, although completely inadequate, if I'm honest, for all that you do and all that you are. And finally, to the Airmen of the 3rd Air Force. As mentioned, this spring, this summer, our periods have changed. Countless ceremonies like this across the theater, both at the highest levels of UCOM and AFRICOM, as well as all the components and supporting commands, swapping out leaders. We're continuing to emerge from a COVID pandemic with new and evolving challenges that brings on. And most notably, we're facing second and third order effects from Russia's invasion of Ukraine, including the reality that our U.S. and NATO posture will change in this theater in order to defend their lives. However, you can be sure that if I didn't think about it, their Air Force will not adjust its foundational purposes to develop, to defend, and to deter. Sorry, develop, defend, and deliver. She's already. Developing our greatest resources, our airmen, through opportunities to learn, to lead, to grow, and experience their professional lives. We will intentionally grow airmen and families in this command who are stronger, more connected, more resilient than when they showed up. 3rd Air Force will continue to defend the NATO alliance against the relevant and very real threat. Our sovereignty and values that we collectively hold dear and stake. To do that, our wings will strengthen relationships at the local level, tactically and operationally, and technically, across the warfighter spectrum. And finally, we'll posture our bases, our sensors, and our airmen to defend as required. And finally, 3rd Air Force will deliver air power anytime and anywhere. We'll span the spectrum from humanitarian assistance in our own backyard, as we saw last summer, to delivering supplies or PR missions in the furthest reaches of Africa. Continue to supply fuel with tankers like that one back behind it, the ISR, the fighters defending the eastern flank, to partner with host nation militaries to ensure that we have tactical command and control over it, and to provide a base operating support to countless deployed units within us, as well as our joint forces across the world. And if required, deliver precision fires and defense as well. So yes, the world has changed. Our 3rd Air Force will adapt and embrace these new realities. The needle will not move when it comes to dedication, readiness, and resolve of our airmen. So let's land this plane, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored, I'm humbled to take the guide on of this organization so steeped in history and so full of excellence. But more importantly, I'm proud to serve these women. I'm proud to wear the passions of the Air Force, and by extension, the wheels and the airmen that serve for the Guardians. Thank you.
General friends. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and departure of the official party. Major General and Mrs. Friends invite all in attendance to post-ceremony reception held here at the end of the file. Thank you for attending.